and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, this is Duke.
And this is Corey.
Thanks for tuning in to the Drive-In Review podcast. I think this is our 5th episode.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about March Madness. We're going to be doing some basketball films.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay, but we had some personal issues that we had to deal with, and we're back ready to roll.
Yep, no problems.
So first off, we're going to start off with a movie everybody knows, and that's White Men Can't Jump.
Everybody knows that movie?
I'm sure if they don't, then they should.
All the Aborigines in South America.
They probably do.
Yeah.
The movie's about two hustlers, different races. They both have one goal in mind, and that's to win money playing the sport that they love, and that's basketball. Stars Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes.
Rosie Perez.
Yep, Rosie Perez, and Kadeem Hardison. You remember him?
No, who's that?
He was in a Different World, a TV series.
Yeah, I remember the show.
And he was also co-starred in, I think, The Sixth Sense.
Okay.
So
It's been a while since I've seen that.
yeah, he's been in a few movies as like supporting, side actors.
Okay.
Never really had a starring role, I don't think, in any of the movies.
Right.
But I could be wrong.
The Sixth Sense, not the Sixth Man.
Right. The movie was released March 27th, 1992.
That's today.
That is? No, it's not. That's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
It was directed by Ron Shelton. Back in the 90s, he was known for sports films like Bull Durham, Tin Cup, Cobb with Tommy Lee Jones. And
Never seen it.
Never seen that one?
I've even heard of that.
Oh yeah, that one's a really good one. Then in the early 2000s, he directed Hollywood Homicide with Harrison Ford
I
and
remember that one.
Josh Garnett or Harnett.
Hartnett.
Yeah, Hartnett. Yeah. Which we haven't seen much of lately at all.
Right. He just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
He was kind of a big deal. Heartthrob in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Right. Did 40 Days and 40 Nights and
Yeah, I forgot about that movie.
And,
he was also in H2O, Halloween H2O.
yep. Pearl Harbor, of course.
Oh yeah, that. More Michael Bay.
It was distributed and produced by 20th Century Studios. The movie only had a budget of $31 million and grossed $91 million. So it was a pretty big deal back then.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money.
$31 million for a film back then.
Right. The location for this film was filmed on Venice Beach recreational basketball court,
Okay.
and a lot of NBA stars and everything. That's the court that they use to play basketball at, and Hollywood stars and stuff that live there and stuff. They go there a lot. So
Venice
it's a
Beach.
popular court.
That's where the Doors came out of.
It is, yeah. IMDb rating gave it 6.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 77% with a 68% audience rating.
Mm-hmm.
And Letterboxd gave it 3.4 out of 5.
Pretty decent
Yeah,
ratings.
pretty average. I actually gave it 8 out of 10 slates
Okay.
because, it's one of my favorite basketball movies, and that's why I gave it such a high rating.
I'd give it 7 out of 10 slates. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah, I just Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes did a really good job at the role, and
Aren't they talking about doing a remake or a sequel or something?
there is a TV series, I believe, or a Hulu movie
Okay.
coming out, remake. It's coming out May 19th next year.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that and see what. Hopefully they don't shred
Are they
it.
going to be reprising their roles? Or?
No, it's all different characters. So that's that's why I want to see if it's going to shred the
They're gonna do
the original.
a dramatic version of it, like a Fresh Prince of Bel Air TV show.
Right. So it's funny that you mentioned Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but we'll get to that
Okay.
Later on. Some facts about this movie: Woody Harrelson did actually dunk the ball at the end. Only they had to lower the goal by like 6 inches, so he can actually, because he couldn't dunk it 10 feet, so he had to dunk it 9.5. And he actually hustled Wesley Snipes out of money and convinced him to bet against him that he couldn't dunk it. And Snipes didn't know that they lowered the goal, so it was a little bit of joke on Wesley Snipes there.
Okay.
And
don't trust Woody Harrelson, folks.
right. And speaking of Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes, this wasn't the first sports movie that they filmed together.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Wildcats?
I've heard of it. Isn't that I almost said Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg. No. Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
The other gold.
Yeah,
person.
it was a football film.
Yeah.
About football and
Yeah, I've
everything.
not seen it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Charlie Sheen was the first choice for Woody's character, Billy Doyle, but had no interest in basketball.
Okay.
And also David Duchovny and Keanu Reeves were ahead of Harrelson. So Harrelson was kind of like, I guess, last choice.
Would you say this was 92?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, hey, for being picked last, he did a great job, I believe.
Yeah.
And they wanted Denzel Washington for Sidney, which was played by Wesley Snipes. But yeah, he evidently stole the show
You
over
imagine
Denzel.
Denzel Washington and Keanu Reeves in a film together?
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be crazy. Or David Duchovny,
Oh, God.
some X-Files.
No.
Here's a bit of a fun fact for you for this movie that you like. Stanley Kubrick. Does that ring a bell?
Of course.
He's on recording saying that this is one of his favorite films.
That's odd.
Right?
Of the caliber of movies that he's done, he likes
White Men Can't Jump. Yep.
That's interesting.
I thought you would like that since it's the horror genre
Yeah.
and everything. You'd like that tidbit of information.
Sure.
So that's what I got out of it. Do you have anything to add about it?
I'd like to watch it again.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been over 10 years, I think, since I've seen it.
Well,
But of course, I watched it on cable
You
in
wanna-
the 90s growing up.
you wanna-
Do I want
You
to watch
want
it right now?
right? You want to get a dictionary and look up all the fruits with the letter Q?
Kumquat?
Go on Jeopardy like Rosie Perez character did. There was actually another fun fact was that Rosie Perez fought for her role for
Physically?
yeah, well, not physically, but I mean she said I'm taking this role whether you like it or not, and
I'm taking this role if you like it or not.
the studio and stuff didn't like the idea of Woody Harrelson having a Puerto Rican girlfriend and everything, but yeah, she got the job, which I mean with her attitude, I don't see
got the job.
Yeah, I don't see why
You like my impersonation of Rosie
that
Perez?
was a horrible
Awful.
Puerto
Yeah.
Rican, man.
Thanks.
You can get your ass kicked for that, man.
That's what I'm here for.
That's all I got on that movie.
Okay, cool. Well, I'd like to talk about The Way Back.
The Way Back. Ben
Way Back
Affleck.
with Ben Affleck. The synopsis, it's about an alcoholic coach who, just like any other basketball movie, he coaches this team back into submission.
Right.
So
That seems to be the synopsis for a lot of these movies.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
is. Whipping them back into shape.
Yeah, it's not an original theme, but
Right.
some of these are really good movies. I thought The Way Back was a good movie. It was directed by Gavin O'Connor, who also he actually produced The Accountant, another movie with Ben Affleck,
Okay.
which I thought was a really good
Yeah.
movie as well. It was released March 6th of 2020, just before the pandemic.
Right.
And it was its production company was Warner Brothers. It was also written by Brad Inglesby, and I couldn't find anything noteworthy that he's written aside from The Way Back. But the score was done by Rob Simonson,
Okay.
who has done other scores such as The Way Back. Yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yes.
That way.
He also did the score for The Whale.
Nice.
Brendan Fraser.
Did he win an award for it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No. But Brendan Fraser did.
He did.
Go him.
Right. That was awesome.
The movie was filmed in Ontario. Did I say Ontario? Is it
Yeah.
Ontario?
It's Ontario. Yeah.
California. Not
Canada.
No.
Oh.
But mostly filmed in Ontario, Canada, or California. Shut up. But just around the area of Long Beach and LA as well. For its ratings, we got an IMDb rating of 6.7 out of 10, Letterboxd rating of 3.3 out of 5, and the Rotten Tomatoes 84% with an audience rating of the same 84%.
Nice. I think that's the first time that I've seen audience rating this exactly the same as.
Yeah, me too.
So that's pretty cool.
Have you seen The Way Back?
I have.
Okay. Did you like it?
I liked it. Yeah. I thought Ben Affleck did a really good job at it and everything.
I'm not a big Ben Affleck fan, but I thought he did pretty good as well.
I mean, he did better than Batman.
That's a whole different conversation. The movie grossed $15.4 million against a budget of $21 to $25 million, and there's a reason for that. Like I said before, it was released March 6th of 2020, just before the pandemic. So it had a 60% drop in its second week because of the pandemic, just like every other movie that was in the theater at the time. And some fun facts about the film. Ben Affleck gained 30 pounds for the role. And he was also struggling with alcoholism, just like the character that he was playing in the film.
Yeah, I felt that, he really, like I said, he did a really good job at the role because of that, he was struggling with the same issues. And so that just kind of added to the intensity of it.
The drama of the film, yeah. As a matter of fact, he had just been released from rehab as the film began shooting. So there's that. The film was also originally titled The Has-Been. Why they changed the name of the film, I don't know.
Right.
But, I don't know, riding the way back wave along the way back.
So what'd you rate it?
I gave The Way Back 7 out of 10.
7?
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. 7 out of 10. It's up there, almost an 8.
Not a bad movie. It just wasn't a great movie.
Right.
I think anything that I give an 8 or above, it's something that really grabbed me or touched me or affected me in some way.
Right.
From watching it. Not in a molestation way.
You got the feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
But that's all I have on The Way Back.
All right. Well, I have a lot on this next movie.
Okay, what you got?
We're going to talk about Above the Rim.
I have not seen that.
Never. Is great movie. Of course, it stars the late Tupac Shakur, Leon, who was in. No, no, not the Frenchman. It was he was in Cool Runnings and The Temptations. Nope, not a ringing bell.
No.
Okay.
If I've seen Cool Runnings, it was like in '93.
He's the one that always asks, "Hey, you dead man?"
Okay.
Yeah, that was him. He was the leader in Cool
Not
Runnings.
Dougie Doug.
Right, not Dougie Doug. And then also Dwayne Martin. And the film, it's a story about a high school basketball star with great talent. Talking about Dwayne Martin's character. He's torn between his relationship with his two brothers, Tupac, which is a drug dealer, and Leon, which is a former basketball star, now turned security guard.
Okay.
And it's a great movie. It's a drama. It's very slow going and everything, but I think the basketball scenes are the most intense of the film, and just really brings out. I mean, I think this is one of Tupac's best movies that he's done.
Released?
The release was March 23rd of 1994.
Well, that's today.
No,
that was 3 days ago.
That was 3 days ago. We're doing movies in March, and we didn't even know it.
Yeah,
How
I
about
guess
that?
so.
It was directed and produced by Jeff Pollock, and he also produced Booty Call and Lost and Found with David Spade.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he was also a writer for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from 1990 to 1996.
Just made a whole 360 here.
Right. So it was distributed by New Line Cinema. The location for the film was mostly done in Harlem.
Okay.
And had a budget of $6.5 million, grossed $16 million, so it made its money back, doubled its money, and then some. So it wasn't a big success,
yeah.
but for the actors that were in and everything, I mean that's pretty good because they weren't real well known for their acting. Yeah, they got paid. IMDb gave it a 6.6 out of 10 rating. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 52% with an 82% audience rating.
Okay, that's a little bit of a gap.
I kind of agree with that. Why? Because it's more of a cult classic now than it was back then.
Yeah.
And so, the audience.
Oscar winner.
Right, right. Letterboxd gave it 3.2 out of 5. I gave it 6 out of 10 slates. It's, it could have been better. Like I said, it was really slow going. But again, it's in my top 10 of basketball movies.
Did you say this was 96?
94.
94, okay.
Yep.
Was this Tupac's first movie?
I don't believe so, no. I think he did Juice.
Oh, he was
Was
in
right.
Juice, yeah.
Yeah, he was in Juice.
He was
before
also
this
in
one.
Nothing But Trouble, but he was part of the Digital Underground.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about them. Oh, Humpty Hump.
How dare you?
Right. Some fun facts about this. I've got quite a few of them.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
The part in the movie where Shep, played by Leon,
Professional.
yeah, he's practicing shots without a basketball. So he's just making the motions, and the player, the people are making fun of him in the movie, saying, "Look, he's doesn't even have a basketball." This is actually a practice that NBA stars actually do right now, and even the late Kobe Bryant did this and shot without basketballs. It helps with their hand motion.
Okay.
And it said it's a lot easier without the ball to do the hand motion, and then whether with the ball.
Okay.
So that was pretty interesting to find out.
Little wrist exercise.
Yeah, flick of the wrist. That's what coaches would always tell you. It's all about the flick of the wrist.
Okay.
And the main song for the film. What do you think the main song of the film was on the soundtrack? What pops out the most?
Boogie Shoes? I don't know.
Warren G's Regulate.
Oh, okay.
That was actually not the main song of the film, although that was the most popular song. And how Warren G came about, with his popularity was Regulators.
Yeah.
And
that was 94. You said March of 94, so yeah.
Yeah. And but no, it was Tupac had a song on there with another rapper, Stretch, called Pain.
Okay.
And that was the main song in the soundtrack. You won't find that on the CD copy. It was only released on the cassettes.
Oh,
So if you have an old tape player and happen to find the cassette, you'll be able to hear the song.
interesting.
So I thought that was kind of weird because I always thought Regulate was the main song of the soundtrack, but it wasn't. So, and then Tupac actually had a double. Tupac was filmed kind of like the Paul Walker deal.
Yeah.
But back then they didn't have digital,
Yeah.
face recognition and stuff. So, but he had on the last scene where he is involved, he gets shot in a club. Tupac's character does. That's not Tupac. That's actually a lookalike that gets shot. And because, ironically, Tupac was in the hospital recovering from his first time getting shot.
Okay.
So it's kind of ironic that the character got shot in a club whenever he was recovering from an actual gunshot wound. So I didn't know that. You couldn't tell. Like the lookalike was
poetic.
identical. Yeah. Sadly, he died on September 13th, 1996 from a gunshot wounds that occurred a week prior.
Several gunshot wounds.
Yeah. So we lost him 2 years after the filming of this movie. So it's sad. He was a good rapper, good actor, actually, I thought. I liked all of his movies that he's done.
How many has he done? At least a half dozen.
Yeah, I mean, there's Juice, Above the Rim, Poetic Justice. There's
With old Janet Jackson.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones out there too. I know. I just can't think. Those are the three that pop into mind.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I got on Above the Rim.
Okay.
What'd you give it for a rating?
I haven't seen it,
Oh, okay,
so default.
all right. So,
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 6 out of 10 because, like I said, it was a really good movie. I liked the storyline. It was just kind of it made me want more. It was very slow drawn, and so that's why I gave it a 6 out of 10. Kind of bored me a little bit,
Pretty
but still,
average then.
yeah, kept you glued to it. But you were like, okay, there's gonna be more, and yeah, it just
Never picked up
Right.
to your liking.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Okay, well, I've got Hustle. It's a new movie.
Oh.
It's a Netflix film starring Adam Sandler. It's about Adam Sandler. He's like a promoter. He's a scout, actually. He goes out and finds professional basketball players to bring in, and he goes out to Spain to find a certain professional basketball player. Actually, he's not professional at the time, but he's a hell of a lot better than anybody else that he's found, and his boss is real reluctant to have this person brought in, so he has to fight to get him into the game,
Right.
basically.
Right.
And he's really having a hard time with it. And his boss is a real jackass. His boss, I believe, is Ben Foster in the movie. He's been in a few other things, but he plays a really good asshole. But I thought the movie was really good. It was directed by Jeremiah Zager, and it was released on Netflix on June 8th, 2022. It was produced by Happy Madison Productions.
Okay. Right.
Any Adam Sandler film you find is going to be Happy Madison Productions.
This is one of his fewer dramas that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Most
It's a hell of a lot better than Hidden Gems.
uncut gems. Yeah.
Just hidden.
Yeah. Which is ironic because he was like an obsessed gambler for basketball and gambled.
Was he? I never even
Yeah.
finished it. Obviously, I don't even know the damn name of the movie.
Yeah. So it was
written by Taylor Materne and Will Fetters. Couldn't find anything noteworthy on them. And the score was done by Dan Deacon. Again, nothing noteworthy.
right.
But it was filmed in Philadelphia, PA. Most of the film was on a budget of $21 million. don't really have a gross because it's a Netflix film.
What was it? Was it West Philadelphia?
Born and raised. But it had an IMDb rating of 7.3 out of 10. Letterboxd rating of 3.6 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes, again, 93% with a 93% audience rating.
Wow.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Twofer.
Twofers. I didn't find any fun facts on the movie. It's a good movie, but nothing spectacular jumps out at me. The only things really I found were the person that Adam Sandler's character finds. His name is Juancho Hernan Gomez.
Okay.
And he was a pro basketball player, or is a pro basketball player.
Wow.
And you can find a lot of pro basketball players in the film itself playing themselves
Yeah.
or other people. And the only other thing I could find was that the location where he found Juancho was in Spain, and that was actually changed from China to Spain, mainly because Netflix doesn't do business with China. So they changed the location from China to Spain.
Gotcha.
So and that's really all I have on Hustler. Wow. Where is my mind?
Wrong theme there. We're not talking about Larry Flint.
Yeah.
I know we spoke about Woody Harrelson, but leave Larry Flint out of it.
Making that 360 again. But Hustle is a good movie. Go check it out on Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet. I've been wanting to. It's one of those that I get on Netflix, I see it, I don't click on it, I go to something else. Mm-hmm. So I need to watch it because I like Adam Sandler. I think the only drama that I didn't like by him was probably Uncut Gems. Yeah, Hidden Gems. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one. So it'd be interesting to see what his follow up is from that.
Yeah. Waterboy 2.
Yeah. He actually is doing Waterboy 2.
Really?
And Billy Madison 2. He's doing sequels. He's working on them now.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy Gilmore 2 also.
Interesting.
So that's going to be if it sticks, because he already talked that he was making sequels. So if it still stays, but you know how things go in Hollywood. Yeah. So I gave it a default because I haven't seen it. So what did you give it?
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
7?
7 out of 10 slates.
Nice.
And that's really all I have for Hustle. What you got, Sea-Dog?
Well, next up is Blue Chips.
Never seen it.
Never seen that one?
Mm-mm.
Really good movie. It stars Nick Nolte and Shaquille O'Neal and Ed O'Neill.
Okay.
So,
are they related?
No.
Okay.
No. Same name, different spelling.
Okay.
Or what was that? What was that off of Green Mile? Sounds the same, just not spelt the same.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, off that.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Right.
I just saw him on an episode of 2.5 Men.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like season 6, and there was a lot of cameos in that season. Carol Kane showed up.
Huh.
Pretty good season.
Oh, I like 2.5 Men.
Me too. It's not a show you hear about a lot.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Back to movies now. So Blue Chips is basically, about the basketball players and everything, the coaches, how they got basketball players to come play, recruit them to their schools and stuff. Mm-hmm. It was really frowned upon, and I believe it was against the law at the time for them to bribe the players for like endorsements and stuff like that to come play basketball.
Is this an 80s movie?
It was 94.
Was it set in the 90s?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think Shaquille O'Neal was just drafted, not shortly after after this movie, or before the movie.
Mm-hmm. I did my research, but that's one of the movies I didn't.
Yeah.
Check that one out.
So this movie here, like I said, it brings along the rules of the college rules that players can't endorse their name for money, or you can't, the coaches can't bribe the players to come play for their team and stuff. So that's what the movie is really revolving around. These
That's
three.
what the coach is doing, though. He's bribing people.
He's trying not to do it.
Oh, okay.
He's finding it hard to, he's struggling not to do it, but he's really trying not to do it.
Okay.
So, anyways, it's like I said, it stars Nick Nolte, Shaquille O'Neal, Ed O'Neill. It was released February 18th, 1994. Director is William Friedman. Known him from Rules of Engagement, The Hunted, and 1973's The Exorcist.
Oh, that's right. That's how I knew that damn name.
I threw that one in there for you there.
Yeah.
So
I knew that name.
it was also written by Ron Shelton and distributed by Paramount Pictures. And it has a budget of $35 million, but it only grossed 26. So it was a bomb.
Flippity flop.
Yeah. So, but it got good audience ratings. IMDb gave it 6.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 37% with a 51% audience rating.
Okay.
And Letterboxd gave it 3.1 out of 5. I gave this one 6.5. This is my first half slate that I gave a movie, just because it was in between 6 and 7. I couldn't decide which one to make it. It was a good movie. It has a lot of history involved with it, and they just now recently passed the law to where players can endorse their name now.
Okay.
So, it's like I said, it's a little bit of a history lesson and everything in sports. And
any idea where we can go check that movie out? I think it's on Amazon Prime.
I think it's on Amazon, and I believe it is on Netflix. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
When I was looking around, I think I saw
it's on one of the streaming
I
sites.
I saw it on Prime.
Yeah, it's on one of the streaming sites. So some fun facts about this movie. Like I was telling you about the rules and everything, it actually started an investigation inside the NCAA.
Okay.
After a coach confessed into bribing players because he felt guilty after he watched the movie. So then that threw a red flag, and others started calling in, and yeah, it was a big ordeal.
Okay.
So
life or art influencing life.
Yeah, so that's really the only facts that I got on it, but I just thought that was interesting that movie actually started an investigation on it and everything. So, and I guess they cracked down on a lot of schools that were actually doing it. So,
okay.
So yeah, so there's Blue Chips for you,
right there on the silver platter. Cool.
What you got?
Next movie up that I'd like to talk about is Hoosiers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hoosiers is the same premise as any other basketball movie. Basically, they bring in this coach who is played by
Gene Hackman.
Thank you. It revolves around this coach played by Gene Hackman, and he's brought in to whip this team into shape, and because they haven't won a game ever, basically. And his methods become pretty controversial in this small town in Indiana, I believe.
Yeah.
Is where it takes place.
Indiana Hoosiers.
Yep. The movie was directed by David Anspaugh, who also directed Rudy, which was a 90s flick with Sean Astin. It was released February 27th, 1987. It was a 86 film, I believe, but it didn't get a wide release until 87. It was distributed by Orion Pictures, produced by Cinema 84, and it was written by Angelo Pizzo.
Pizzo.
I don't know
Right.
who this person is. I couldn't find anything noteworthy that this person has done. But the score, and this is interesting, was done by Jerry Goldsmith, who's done countless other scores for other movies. He's worked with Joe Dante on several films, including Gremlins.
Okay.
Did the score for Gremlins, this Jerry Goldsmith. Also did the score for Interspace, Explorers,
Nice.
Matinee. He's also done the score for The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and Hollow Man. And
Wow.
I mean, the list goes on and on. I could have just wrote a whole damn list about the movies that this guy's done a score for. And,
Right.
And it would be interesting. But I didn't want to. So Hoosiers was a pretty decent film. I think the best part of the movie was Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, he
thought
really.
he had a hell of a performance in that movie. And I'll come back to him in a minute. I do have some facts about Hoosiers. IMDb gave it a 7.4 out of 10, pretty highly rated.
Mhm.
Letterboxd gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 91%. That's the reviewer rating or critic rating.
Okay.
And an 88% for the audience rating. It was filmed in and around Knightstown and Lebanon, Indiana, mostly. And it was filmed on a budget of $6 million, and it made $28.6 million. So definitely
Nice.
made its money back.
Right.
And a successful film for 1987. Some facts about Hoosiers. Jack Nicholson. He wanted to play the role of Coach Norman Dale, who was played by...
Gene Hackman. Yeah.
I'm just going to let you name off the actors
Right.
here because I can't think of names right now.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, that's a good choice that they went. I think Gene Hackman did a better job than what Jack Nicholson would have done.
It would have been a different movie.
Definitely, because wasn't that about the time a few angry men?
You angry man. Just put two movies together.
Right. A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
12
can't,
Good Men.
Yeah, 12 Good Men. You can't handle the truth. Oh, goodness.
So the coach Norman Dale, which Gene Hackman plays, was based off of Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
The real life Bobby Knight.
Infamous Indiana coach.
And Jack Nicholson did not get the part of Coach Norman Dale because he was a witness in a lawsuit at the time, and it set him back about 6 months.
Wow.
So he was, yeah.
He was in court.
Yeah.
He was doing jury duty alongside Pauly Shore.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Hackman's agent wanted the director fired. Why? I don't think I could find anything on that, but I thought it was interesting to note that did happen.
Well, so what I found on that it was just Gene Hackman was just driving him to a nervous brink, you know.
Yeah, Hackman thought that the movie was going to be crap.
Yeah, so he
And
gave him shit like every single day.
Yeah, it wasn't until the director started showing him clips daily.
Yeah,
To show him, look, this is where we're going with the movie, you know, and so.
right. But I
he
mean,
used his mind.
I feel sorry for the director that had to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't have to. You know, he could have went with Jack Nicholson.
Right.
You know,
How much more of a pain in the ass would Jack Nicholson be though?
True. I mean, back then he was
I've heard
kind
he
of.
can be a real pain in the ass. But,
Yeah.
You know.
He plays a good pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So.
I mean.
Interesting though.
I guess if you're getting paid that much money, you're
Right.
getting paid to be a pain in the ass.
Exactly.
Or you're getting paid to keep your mouth shut.
What if they swapped? What if Dennis Hopper was the coach and Gene Hackman was the basketball player?
Ooh, I don't know. I like the role that Dennis Hopper played.
Yeah, a lot of people would argue that's his best film.
As a matter of fact, he was reluctant to play that role because he had just stopped drinking.
Right.
And in the movie, his character is a drunk, a massive drunk, who basically just screws everything up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Dennis Hopper used James Dean as an inspiration for that character, which kind of sums up
Yeah.
my thoughts about the character. I thought he did an amazing job. And as a matter of fact, Dennis Hopper played alongside James Dean in two of his three movies that James Dean had done. He was in Giant, which I don't remember him in that movie. I have only seen it once, like 25, maybe 30 years ago.
Right.
And he was also in Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, I have seen that one. I haven't seen Giant either, but I have seen Rebel Without a
How long has
Cause.
it been since you've seen?
Oh gosh, it's been ages ago.
It's been.
Yeah, I think I seen it like on Turner Classic Movies when that was a thing.
It's still a thing.
Is it still a thing?
Yeah. You don't have a TCM?
No, I thought AMC
No, it's
took it
totally
over.
different.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, TCM's still a thing.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The more
that's
you
where
know,
I've seen
folks.
it. Right.
One more thing. Harry Dean Stanton,
Mm-hmm.
who I believe just passed away last year,
Yeah.
was going to play Hopper's character, Shooter, was the name of his character. I guess that didn't work out
Right.
because Hopper got the role. And I would say that is one of his best roles as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I don't know. He played good. He played a good Koopa.
God. Every episode, we're going to just talk about.
We'll get to that later.
We need a whole episode devoted to Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
Yeah, spoiler alert, folks. In the next couple episodes, we're going to be doing video game adaptations.
Yep.
And Super Mario is going to be one of those movies. So be prepared.
Yeah. Why do you think that movie flopped so much?
Just because expectations.
That's exactly what I think.
You know, and I went into it, you know, well, I mean, I don't want to get into it too much because I want to talk about it on our episode, but, you know, I went into it with an open mind, and a lot of people didn't. They were expecting it to be just like the game.
That's what I expected.
And everything, and you know, I was a little disappointed at first, but I've seen it like over and over again. I'm like, you know what? It's not a bad movie. It's a bad adaptation, but not a bad movie.
It's not a good movie.
Well, it was. I mean, it was back in the day. It was '93.
Yeah.
And like, what good movies? You know, there's. I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
But that's all I got for Hoosiers.
Okay.
What you got, man?
What was your rating on it?
Hoosiers, I gave that. I give it 6 slates out of 10, but because of Hopper's performance, I'd give it 6.5 out of 10 slates.
I didn't mind Hackman's role. I thought he did really good at imitating Bobby Knight and everything. I gave it 7.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite, you know, classic basketball movies out there. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
I don't think I rated any of these above 7.
Yeah.
Maybe I did. I don't know. We'll find out. The night is young.
Right. All right.
What's your next movie?
Well, let's see here. I've got He Got Game.
Okay. Denzel.
Yep. Denzel Washington.
Now, I like Denzel. I would put him in my top 10, if not top 15 actors of all time.
I mean, the dude can play anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he really can.
So he always has to eat something in a scene in every movie. He has to have like he's sucking on an orange or something,
or a sucker, or chewing some gum, or something. He's got to, yeah. The man's hungry, you know. I think that's how he gets his roles. Like, I'll take that. I'll do that movie, but I got to eat. Yeah, there better be a buffet.
Yeah.
So, anyways, He Got Game. It's about a father of a talented basketball player. He's actually been given a week's parole from the warden, to try and convince his son, that's also really good at basketball and everything, to join a certain college that the warden went to.
Yeah.
And everything. So basically, he's bribing him, saying, "Hey, I'll give you a week to talk your son into coming here," and then in doing so, he's going to get a reduced sentence.
Right.
And I don't want to get into too much detail why Denzel Washington's character is in prison and everything.
Right.
But
That's
because
kinda-
that kind of ruins
It's
the
a
movie
bit
a
of
little
a
bit.
spoiler.
Right.
Yeah.
So I won't get into that. But anyways, that's what it revolves around and everything. And then his relationship with him and his son and stuff like that.
Well, the warden lets him out. Did you mention that? The warden lets
Yeah.
him out? Okay.
Yeah, it gives him a week's parole.
Week's parole.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it stars Denzel Washington, Ray Allen, which plays his son. Ned Beatty is the warden. And Mila Jovovich and John Turturro and Rosario Dawson.
That's a hell of a lineup.
Yeah, like it's a good cast.
Came out, what, 98?
Yeah, May 1st of 98 was when it was released. It was directed and written by Spike Lee
Yep.
and distributed by Touchstone Pictures. It made, this was another flop. Not big though. The budget was $25 million. It only made 22.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's still bombed, but again, good ratings. So not every flop is a bad movie.
I'm going to jump off script here, and I want to ask, when you think of Touchstone Pictures, what is the first movie that comes to mind?
Oh gosh,
That blue line at the bottom that comes across
right.
the beginning of the movie. What's the first movie that comes to mind?
Oh, there's so many Touchstone Pictures. That was like the theme back in the day, and I can
You're
picture the
thinking too
music.
hard about it
I
right
am. I am. I'm trying to think. What do you got? What makes you
Adventures
think?
in Babysitting.
Ah,
When it
yes.
comes across the screen.
Yeah, the doom doo doo. Yeah, yeah. When he kisses me.
Yeah. That's exactly how the song goes.
So, wow, yeah, I had a brain fart on that one because I had it in the tip of my tongue and I couldn't think of it. So like I said, it was a flop, but it had good ratings. So IMDb gave it 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 80% with an 83% audience rating.
Man.
And Letterboxd gave it 3.6 out of 5.
That's pretty highly rated.
Right. But like I said, for flopping and not making its money back, the ratings,
I think
speak for itself.
I would say, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm just going to assume that all of Spike Lee's movies are highly rated.
Well, yeah, it's Spike Lee.
Yeah.
There's probably a couple of them that I didn't really care for, but he's a hell of a director.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave it 7 out of 10 slates. Like I said, the storyline itself and the cast did it for me. It was a great. I thought the cast did a good job and everything, and so I gave it 7 out of 10. So I'm about with the other 3.
It was a good cast. I did not finish it. It did not hold my attention, so I'm not sure if I can rate it accurately because I didn't complete the movie. So
Right.
I would give it 5 out of 10.
About par.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's reasonable. That's fair.
It's above default because I watched maybe half of it.
Right. I found a few facts about this movie. Rosario Dawson, she was only 18 and still a virgin when she shot the sex scene with Ray Allen in the film.
Okay.
And flipping it up.
That's a deep cut there, man.
Yeah, I know. Flipping it up a notch, there was a famous porn star in the movie, Mrs. Chasey Lane.
Chasey Lane.
A.K.A. Buffy in the movie, and found out she still keeps in contact with Ray Allen through social media today.
Yeah.
And everything. This that so many years ago.
Keeps in contact.
Yeah, keeps in contact.
Quote,
right.
Unquote.
Right. And then Kobe Bryant was actually considered for the role of Jesus, which is played by Ray Allen.
Mm-hmm.
But of course he
Denzel's son.
yeah, he got the job instead of Kobe Bryant. So
okay, that would have been interesting. I didn't know that Kobe Bryant was an actor.
I didn't
or
either.
Had any chops doing that.
I mean, Spike Lee was big on big Lakers fan and stuff. So
Okay.
I'm sure he approached Kobe and was like, "Yo, I got a movie I want you to," and he was like, "Okay." And then Ray Allen came around and was like, "Yo, I'm better than he is.
Yeah.
You stick to basketball."
Right. Is Ray Allen a professional basketball player?
No.
Okay, he's just an actor.
Yeah, he's just an actor.
Okay.
So I don't know. He might be good at basketball.
Well, I'm sure, I think that would be one of the main things on your resume.
Right. So
I play hockey, but I'm sure we can get this done.
well, that was just like Charlie Sheen. He didn't want to do the basketball movie and everything, and because he didn't care for basketball.
White
so
man can't jump.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That would have been weird.
I think so too.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got for that one.
All right. Well, my next movie is Teen Wolf.
Ow!
Do it again.
Ow!
One more time.
Nope.
Okay. Damn it. All right. Well, so Teen Wolf is. Well, if you haven't seen the movie, do I really need a synopsis for this one?
Michael J.
J.
Fox.
Fox is a wolf man,
Yeah.
and he's in a long line family of wolf people.
He's a generation werewolf
Yeah. So
that plays basketball.
He's on the high school basketball team. He finds out that he's a werewolf, and it boosts his popularity and his basketball skills. So.
Yeah, gets into ladies. Ladies like the wolves.
Yeah, and it kind of ruins his close relationships too because of his popularity. Turns into a kind of a prick.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen this. I need to rewatch it.
I actually seen it recently.
So the movie was directed by Rod Daniel, who also directed K-9
All right.
with James Belushi and The Super with Joe Pesci.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was released August 23rd, 1985, and the production company was Atlantic Entertainment. Teen Wolf was written by Jeff Loeb, Jeff, J-E-P-H, and Matthew Wiseman. And Matthew Wiseman also helped write the screenplay for Commando.
Nice.
My favorite Schwarzenegger film.
That's a stretch right there.
Right? I believe that's the same year, 85? Yeah, same year as Commando. So, busy man. Matthew Wiseman. The score was done by Miles Goodman, who also did the score for movies such as What About Bob, Little Shop of Horrors,
Nice.
and La Bamba, among others. But those are the ones that I...
That's great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good composers.
Right? Little Shop of Horrors? That's a classic fucking score. Teen Wolf had an IMDb rating of 6.1 out of 10. Letterboxd gave it a 2.9 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 42% with a 52% audience rating. It was filmed in and around LA and South Pasadena in California. Not Canada.
Not Canada. Right.
And it grossed around 80 million against a budget of 4 million. So it definitely made its money back.
Right.
It was a very successful film, just not very highly rated.
The cast, in the movie, besides Michael J. Fox and everything, the big kid that was
Mark Colton?
yeah, he was also the villain, the bad guy in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, he was also in Leprechaun.
Yep. Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Bubba? His
I
name?
can't remember his name in that movie. He
Anyways,
was in the first one, and he was in.
He was also in the
brand
new one. Yeah, the actual sequel to that one. And then his best friend in the movie kind of reminds me of I don't know his name, but it kind of reminds me of Alan Ruck character in Ferris Bueller,
right?
And everything, just his wild antics and everything, and wanting to endorse, the Teen Wolf and the Teen Wolf brand and stuff like that. It just sounds similarities right there, and stuff. But I just wanted to mention that just because those are the two things that pop in my head.
All right, so I do have some facts for Teen Wolf.
All right.
First of all, what I think is really interesting is that Scott Howard, that's Michael J. Fox's character in the movie, his house in the film was located on the same block as George McFly and Lorraine Baines in their 1955 home.
Nice.
In Back to the Future. So production of Teen Wolf only took 21 days. They had to stop filming during certain scenes because they were filming so close to the airport. They had to stop every time a plane went overhead.
I bet that got annoying.
Yeah, I bet. Jesus, excuse me. Michael J. Fox hated the movie so much, and he refused to return for the sequel, which is why we have Jason Bateman in part 2.
Okay.
And also, what's interesting is every growl that you hear Michael J. Fox do in the film, that was voiced over by the director.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's all I got for Teen Wolf.
Well, that's pretty cool. I thought maybe he didn't do the sequel because of money issues or scheduling.
No, he just hated the
hated the movie. Wow. I thought that was that's one he's known for,
Yeah.
But all right. Well,
yep, same year as Back to the Future. So many good films came out in 1985.
Right.
We could do a whole 3-hour episode about
1985
films. So, for my rating, I'd give it probably a 7 slates out of 10. It's been so long since I've seen it. Need to rewatch it, but as of right now, 7 out of 10.
I'll give it 7.5. I'm gonna go a little notch higher just because I have seen it recently. Mm-hmm. It's a cult classic. I mean, you can't help but watch it when it's on and everything. Just just the aspect of it. I mean, it's just a fun film all around.
I probably would have seen it, if I had cable and watched television. The only time I ever watch TV is when I throw a movie on.
Right. Well, back then, you hit the little record button on the VCR and you have it on tape.
Right. Yeah, I had plenty of those. Even on regular television, all the cool edited scenes.
Right.
All the shit cut out. Yeah.
We didn't have cable growing up either. Not for a long time. And everything. We were so broke we had to go to KFC to lick other people's fingers.
Oh. That's pretty sexy. Well, my dad was all about cable and satellite and stuff. I remember back in the mid-'80s, we had the old big-ass satellite dish out in the backyard. The big, giant satellite dish that moved around.
Yeah. Afraid it was going to suck you in.
Yeah. Anytime it stormed, there was no way you were going to watch anything.
No.
You just had to wait.
Hell, storm, even if it sprinkled, you couldn't get reception. I always remember going over to my sister's house all the time, going over there because she had cable, so I'd go over there and watch MTV and VH1 and all that, and so it was cool.
Pants.
Right.
And that's all I have for Teen Wolf. What you got there, Sea Dog?
Well,
for your last film.
My last movie is going to be none other than Coach Carter.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Old Sam Jackson himself.
Haven't seen that since it came out in 2005.
Yeah. Yeah, it was released January 5th, 2005. So starting right off the bat there. And it starred Samuel L. Jackson and Channing Tatum.
Oh, wow.
And Sam Jackson's character is Ken Carter in the movie, and he returns to his old high school as the coach of the basketball team.
Based on a real person?
It is, actually. And I'll get to that later on. I got some fun facts about that.
Gee, sorry.
No, you're good. Jumping the gun, man.
As long as I don't jump the shark.
Right. He turns the team into a winning team, but then their grades start to drop. Mm-hmm. And so he locks everybody out of the gym, and they end up losing the championship because they couldn't play it because the gym was locked. Mm-hmm. And the parents got all pissed off about it and everything, and the coach stuck to his guns and said, look, you need to succeed in the classroom as well as your academics as well as your on the court. Mm-hmm. And everything. So really put into perspective, on the school rules and stuff about academics and everything in your grades. You have to make above a C, I believe, to even qualify to play. Yeah. And everything. So, it goes hand in hand. The director is Thomas Carter, no relation.
Oh.
He directed Metro with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And Save the Last Dance.
Okay.
So, and that's all I have to say about that. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures, which surprised me. I thought this was a Disney film at first for the longest time.
Yeah, I could see that as a Disney film.
And so,
what is it rated? Is it an R movie?
No, I think it's PG-13.
Okay.
So, it's got Sam Jackson in it, so it's got to be at least PG-13. At least. But anyways, it did fairly well. It had a budget of $30 million, and they grossed $77 million.
Okay.
So did fairly well. IMDb gave it 7.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 64% with an 85% audience rating, and Letterboxd gave it 3.6 out of 5.
Wow, those are pretty high ratings for. I didn't realize. I kind of assumed that the movie was not very well known.
Yeah, no, it's one of the more popular basketball movies, and I gave it 8 out of 10 slates. Is my rating on this. I love the movie. Sam Jackson did a really good job, and it was very heartfelt. Playing football in high school and stuff, it kind of brought me back to teaching and stuff like that, and how the teachers were, they were pretty strict on you.
Yeah.
Some fun facts I got on this. It is, like you said, it's based on a true story about Ken Carter, and he had one actor he mentioned to play his part in the movie, and that was none other than Samuel L. Jackson. Nobody else.
Yeah.
He said, I want him to play my part, and that's it.
I wonder if he held out for him.
I'm sure, yeah, he probably did.
Yeah.
2005, I mean, he was doing all kinds of movies and stuff, so.
Right.
Ken Carter himself was on set every single day as a consultant.
Okay.
So there was no room for error at all.
Sure.
And this was Channing Tatum's film debut.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that's where it started, was Coach Carter.
Nice. Did not know that.
That's all I've got on this movie, but
do you know where it was filmed or where it takes place?
I don't. I didn't find that information out. Yeah.
I was just curious.
No, I looked for it, but yeah, I didn't see anything.
Okay.
So
well,
that's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got one more movie.
Well, what'd you give a rating? Have you seen it?
I have, and it's been maybe 13 years.
Yeah.
I mean, since it came out, I saw it. But I give it, even though it's been so long, I'd give it 6.5 slates.
Okay.
Out of 10. like to give it a rewatch, and I remember it being pretty average. I didn't like drool over it, and it didn't underwhelm. It was just average.
Right.
So 6.5 for me.
No, that's good. That's decent.
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
Last movie I got is Basketball Diaries.
Oh, all
starring
right.
Leonardo DiCaprio. It's another movie I'd like to revisit. I did really like the movie, and I like Jim Carroll's poetry. Got a couple of his books at home.
It's a very intense movie.
Yeah,
It
it
really
is.
is.
It's basically about Jim. It's a true story about Jim Carroll, and it's based on his book, The Basketball Diaries. Jim Carroll, the famous poet, played basketball in high school, and I guess he was pretty successful. And unfortunately, he got into a lot of drugs, mainly heroin, and it basically ruined his life. It definitely ruined his basketball career.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, he became a famous poet and musician. The film was directed by Scott Calvert, and it was released April 21st, 1995. Produced by New Line Cinema. When you think of New Line Cinema, what's the first movie that comes to your mind?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, really?
That's the very first one, yeah.
Really? Mine is Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the house that Freddy built.
Right.
Yeah. But the movie was written, as I said, by Jim Carroll, but the screenplay was written by Brian Goluboff.
Wow. That's a lot.
I don't see anything else that he's written notably. But the score, which was interesting, was just watching The Crow today, as a matter of fact, and Graham Revell, who is a New Zealand composer, did the score for The Crow as well as Basketball Diaries. He also did Pineapple Express and a few horror films such as Freddy vs. Jason, Bride of Chucky, and The Craft.
Nice.
So, and there a whole slew of other movies too, but that's what I got down.
Right.
IMDb gave the film 7.3 out of 10. Letterboxd gave it a 3.7 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 47% with a 76% audience rating. It was filmed in and around New York City,
Mm-hmm.
with a budget of $2 million, and it grossed only $2.4 million, so it barely made its money back.
Right.
So, how long has it been since you've seen Basketball Diaries?
It's been a few years actually.
Yeah.
I mean, not a long time, but it's been a few.
I think same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the movie. Like I said, it's very intense, very drawn out, and everything.
Super dramatic film.
It really is. Yeah, it's not your typical, hype sports,
Yeah.
movie. It's very, very well a drama.
Mm-hmm.
It focuses more on the drug addiction more than the basketball.
It does, yeah.
But it's still it's a true story. So
That's why I'm surprised that this movie made this list, because it does focus more around his heroin addiction, and not so much, his basketball career, but
right, more of lines of how it ruined his basketball career.
absolutely, yeah.
So
This was one of Leonardo's earlier films. Back in the 90s, I really did not like Leonardo DiCaprio. It was mainly because of the girlfriend that I was with at the time. She had the major hots for him. She even made me go to the theater with her and watch Titanic.
oh gosh,
I couldn't stand Leonardo. I mean, Romeo and Juliet was another one she used to watch all the time. Man in My Iron Mask. I couldn't stand the guy. But he's in my top 10 favorite actors of all time now.
yeah.
It's funny how that kind of stuff can turn around. But
Yeah, he I think his best role that really turned me around, like, hey, he's actually getting, he is a good actor, was Django.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
And then what he did with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Man, I love that movie. That's my favorite Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're flopped on that one.
Really?
I think we
think
discussed that.
Django?
Yeah, I like Django better.
It's a
That's
great
my top
movie.
one.
Yeah, no fault, man.
But yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's my second.
Oh man, I love that film. I think Shutter Island was the one that turned me around for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he did good in that one too.
yeah. Another movie I just watched with him, and just recently, not even a week ago, I think, was The Aviator. You watched that?
I haven't seen that one yet.
About Howard Hughes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Really good. Really long, but it's really good.
I mean, I've always liked him as an actor. His role in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was
I haven't seen that in a while.
that was tremendous. I mean, he pulled that character off like 100%.
Sure.
And everything. So I mean, he did an excellent job on that one. But he's had some flops here and there and stuff, and just some really bad films, cliche films like Romeo and Juliet and Man in the Iron Mask, and which in that one he was kind of a side character, I think.
I never even seen that one.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, the Musketeers are the main characters in that movie, and he's just he's the twin. He's the king, and he's also the twin brother of the king too. So to me, he's just the side character. The Musketeers are the ones that actually make that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Take your word for it.
really good film. Yeah,
Okay.
really good film.
I thought Blood Diamond was a good film.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
That was in his little area of doing not so much hits, not real notable films, but they were good films.
Right.
He
What
just
about-
had that little run there where
What about Revenant?
I love Revenant.
He didn't say. I mean, there's no words in that movie. Like it's complete
not
silence.
Very many. No, not very many.
So that was. I'm sure that was hard for him.
It was a great film.
Yeah. So all right. Well, enough about DiCaprio.
But I would give that film, I'd say 7.
7 out of 10.
I'd probably give it more if I rewatch it, but as of right now, 7 out of 10 slates.
I'm gonna say overall 6.5 because
Okay.
I was kind of cross between 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it was very drawn out and very dramatic, but just the story behind it and everything as well, and the struggles and stuff. It was all in all a good film.
I'd like to read the book and see how that
Yeah,
pales against the film itself. Have you ever read any of his poetry?
I don't read. I am a movie guy. I don't
know how to read, Corey?
I know how to read.
Okay.
I just don't read.
Okay.
I wait for them to come out on film.
Well, it's a fair question. He's got some really good stuff.
Yeah, I've always been told the books are better than the movies, but I don't have the imagination. So
Really?
yeah, I never could get into reading because I just didn't. I got lost and bored.
Sure.
So
It's not for everybody.
no.
I do have some facts on the film.
Okay.
Apparently, nobody wanted to make the movie. They didn't want the movie to be made. Why? I couldn't find any information as to why nobody wanted the movie to be made. I'm guessing it's because of the content,
Yeah.
maybe, or they were weary about if they could do the book justice. I don't know.
Right.
Those are just assumptions of mine. I have no idea why, but that's one thing. Apparently, also, Columbia Pictures almost made it in the 1980s with Anthony Michael Hall and Ethan Hawke and Eric Stoltz.
That would have been different.
Yeah, and Matt Dillon, Stephen Dorff, and River Phoenix all expressed interest in playing Jim Carroll before Leonardo got the role. And the director, was it the director? No, I think it was Jim Carroll. It might have been Jim Carroll. Had no idea who the hell Leonardo DiCaprio was until he realized, oh, that's the kid from Growing Pains. And didn't he have some issues, like family issues or something in Growing Pains, which showed his
Yeah, he
his range
actually
and-
had I think in in one episode, I think he did suffer from drug addiction
Yeah.
and everything in that. So, I mean, it's all in all. And I also heard that Jim Carroll didn't like the way his character was portrayed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was something I had read up on. See, I do read
Oh,
somewhat.
okay.
I just don't read books.
Do you know how to read? Okay. Hold on, let me write this down. Corey can read. Okay, got it.
Duly noted. So,
All right.
so yeah. So why why was this film made if nobody, even Jim Carroll, didn't want this? Didn't like his character. Why was this movie made?
Somebody wanted it made.
Yeah, I mean, it made its money back at least. But
If they were to make a movie about you, who would you want to play you in a movie?
oh gosh, I don't know.
I know I just sprung this question on you.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm just gonna spit out a name: Ben Affleck.
Okay. You really did just spit that out.
He looks like me.
Okay.
So
Or do you look like him?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. I always got told I looked like Matthew Broderick too when I was younger. I'm like,
Really?
no, yeah, I don't see it.
I always got the Christian Slater.
Yeah, I can see that.
Told me Christian Slater. They also told me, Galecki, Johnny Galecki.
Oh, yeah, from-
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Johnny
from
Galecki.
Roseanne and
From Roseanne,
and
yeah.
Big Bang Theory.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
got
see that.
too.
Put some glasses on. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So if you ever wanted to know what we look like,
Right. Just
Corey
picture.
looks like Ben Affleck.
I'm your host, Ben Affleck, and this is John
I'm
Galecki.
John Galecki.
So,
But that's all I got for Basketball Diaries. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, there were some honorable mentions for this episode. Mainly like Disney movies, like Mike with Lil Bow Wow.
I've never seen it. The Sixth Man.
Yeah, The Sixth Man. That would have been a good one. I don't know why we didn't pick that
I
one.
haven't seen that either.
Yeah,
Wasn't that like a ghost film?
Yeah, he dies and then helps the team out
Okay.
and everything. And
Yeah, I remember.
Marlon Wayans
Yeah, I remember the movie. I just haven't seen it.
and Space Jam, of course. But we're going to talk
We're gonna
about that.
hold off on that one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later on. And so yeah, just some honorable mentions.
Cool. Well, next episode we're going to be talking about. You want to tell them?
80s high school comedies.
All right. Yeah, we got a great lineup on this one. Classic films, man. Classic.
You can't have 80s high school without some John Hughes, so
Dude,
expect some.
We could sit for like 2 days and just play each of these movies back to back and have a grand old time because each
Oh, yeah.
one of them are classics.
Right.
A couple of them are some of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for next week's.
Yeah, I am too.
So.
I kept getting confused with whether we were going to do 80s or we were going to do 90s.
We could do a 90s one as well. There's plenty of 90s ones we could do.
Yeah, I don't want to go
Dazed
back.
and Confused.
I don't want to go back to high school though. Let's do like 90s college.
College movies.
Yeah, we'll grow up a little bit.
Were there a lot of 90s college movies, though? I know there was a lot in the 80s and the 2000s. You got, like, Van Wilder in the 2000s.
Right.
Were there some in the... I don't know. We'd have to check it out.
Yeah, we'll have to
but
check it out.
That'd be a good idea.
So
that's what we got. Thanks for tuning in to Drive-In Review. I'm Duke.
I'm Corey, and one more thing, don't forget to check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and hit us up on our Facebook page, Drive-In Review.
Yep.
So, good night, folks.
Good night.
You gotta go with the flow, Joe.